Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationships / am I the arsehole stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Now today's first story comes from Pumpkin Spice Puppy, who says, my 26 female boyfriends, 25 male friends, 20s males, keep telling him to break up with me while I'm grieving my mother's death. My boyfriend Andrew and I have been together for a little over a year, and we are very in love. He's expressed several times that he's never been in a relationship where it was so easy to communicate before. And we really do talk about everything. We are romantic partners, but we're also amazing friends. One result of our open communication is that we share feelings with each other very readily, whether good or bad. Something that he's expressed to me before is that he struggled with a fear of commitment, has ended all of his previous relationships. It has happened a few times now in our relationship where he has felt some doubts about us. Typically when this happens we discuss and then I give him space to work it out on his own. Every time he has come to the conclusion that his anxiety and fear of commitment cause some intrusive doubts. I've done my best to be understanding. Another way he deals with his doubt is by bouncing it off his close group of friends. He moved to the city a few years ago and has friends from grad school here, but his close group of friends are elsewhere. When these anxieties come up for him, he usually brings his concerns to them, where they all sort it out. 3 friends are all involved here: Max, Dave and Jack, and the 4 of them bonded through shared interests in Buddhism, mindfulness practice and yoga. This is something that Andrew has introduced to me in our relationship, and that I enjoy but don't totally feel is mine. Max, Dave, Jack and Andrew's extensive experience with Buddhism has created a sort of common language for them all, and they communicate in, Andrew describes it as, esoteric. Last week, my mum died. It's been a horrible, heart-wrenching experience for me, and Andrew has been supporting me the whole time. The day before her funeral, I check in with him on how he's feeling, what the emotional burden of caring for me is. He reluctantly tells me he loves being there for me, but that some doubt has been on his mind recently. Apparently the day before, Jack had called him to express some doubt about our compatibility that he said was shared by the entire group. Andrew then called Max and Dave, who echoed Jake's thoughts, along with some rather hurtful statements about my character. In particular, Max told Andrew that he was settling for me, that Andrew was extraordinary and I was ordinary, and that I lacked depth as a person. Max has only met me once. The entire day of the funeral, Andrew was there with me but debating breaking up. He told me that although he didn't agree with his friends when they first voiced these concerns, some of what they said echoed his doubts about the relationship and he had to at least consider them. I countered that they line up with his doubts about the relationship because that's the only part of our relationship they hear about. Dave and Andrew are single, and he doesn't share our couple's stories. Ultimately, he decided he wanted to stay together and shared that decision with them. Max responded again with entirely new arguments for why we shouldn't be together, which I found suspicious. I can't get rid of this feeling that their criticisms stem from my inability to connect with and share their worldview and communication style. I'm a very logical, straightforward person, and my personality does not match theirs. Andrew doesn't mind, but I feel like I'm being singled out for being different. To some extent, Andrew agrees with me and thinks their concerns boil down to this. However, he says that they know him very well and care about him very much, and that he needs to at least consider their views, especially when they line up with his previous doubts. He also doesn't want to argue with Max about the way he's treated me, because Max is apparently very stubborn and won't back down in an argument. He thinks it's easier to just let him say what he wants to say. I'm feeling incredibly frustrated that my boyfriend is just accepting of the fact that his friends are unfairly attacking my character, days after my mother's funeral, and he can't be bothered to set boundaries with them. How can I express to him how hurtful this is without making him feel like I'm putting him in the middle of me and his friends? And we'll start off with a deleted user who says, "Hun, I'm so sorry about your mum, but Andrew is telling you loud and clear he is not invested in you. He won't commit and he wants to break up. You don't argue someone into staying with you. You can't logic someone into committing to you. He's already gone. You just need to let go. I'm very sorry for your loss. Squad Party quotes a section where it says he thinks it's easier to just let him say what he wants to say, then says, I cannot roll my eyes hard enough. You just lost your mum. You're going through a very difficult time, and this is when your boyfriend chooses to tell you his friends don't like you. Sorry, that you're ordinary while Andrew Watt farts heavenly clouds from Nirvana. Your boyfriend and his friends, especially Max, sound like twits. If they were truly into being mindful and Buddhist, they wouldn't be trashing their friend's girlfriend the day she lost her mother. It is fine for him to not feel you are compatible. It is fine for his friends to not think you are compatible. It is fine for them to tell him this. It is fine for him to break up with you. It is not fine for him to dump this dumb, childish, my friends don't like you shit on you while you are going through a very, very hard and emotional time. A deleted user says, first of all, I am so sorry for your loss. I cannot imagine what you are going through now. Please focus on yourself and not your self-centered boyfriend. I cannot believe your boyfriend is making your mother's death about him and his commitment issues. Couldn't he put this aside for a while? I don't care how amazing a person his friends think he is. He doesn't deserve to be focusing on his own needs now. Everything he is saying through his friends is incredibly hurtful. This is the last thing you should be worrying about now. If he is telling you this stuff and not defending you, then he obviously agrees with what they are saying, but doesn't want to hurt your feelings. Honestly though, it shouldn't be a battle to keep your boyfriend committed. The first year is the honeymoon period and is awesome. Things should be easy now. It will only get harder. I think you deserve way better. When you are ready, please consider leaving him. Find someone who is certain they want to stay with you and not someone who thinks they are superior because they practice mindfulness. Shake my head. And one more from Balance the Mirror who says, oh for fuck's sake, dumb this idiot with his poor fifis about commitment. Let Andrew and his 3 girlfriends jerk themselves into a tizzy being all esoteric. This sounds very r/I am very smart. Focus on you. You have suffered a huge loss and I'm so sorry. Take care of you. If meditation will help, great. If ice cream will help, great. If rage crying into a pillow and burning Andrew in effigy will help, great. I recommend some grief counseling as well, but take this dude off your plate. Making you go through this during the funeral. I hate this enlightened dude. Mindful my ass. I wish I could make all this hurt less. And one more from Hunt Gather who says, I don't think an extraordinary person would unload a bunch of negative comments from his friends onto his grieving partner. You may have asked him how helping you out was impacting him, but there is no reason for him to have taken that as an opportunity to dump those hurtful sentiments onto you. He sounds like one of those I just have to speak my truth guys who doesn't care what harm they unleash. He can't even decenter himself in his doubts and negative thoughts, or at least keep them to himself, while you are right in the heart of grief. He probably isn't the man who will ever stand wholly beside you as a true partner. But OP goes on to update their post, which says, my post didn't get very much attention, but I thought I'd post an update anyway, because I like them so much. I'm also hoping it might be therapeutic to write this out. I did break up with my boyfriend, albeit not immediately after Reddit resoundingly told me to. A lot of people were saying to me that by doing this to me, especially at this time, Andrew was expressing a lack of commitment to me and consideration for me. I think part of me knew that as soon as it happened, but I just wasn't ready to accept it yet. We ended up staying together after the incident I described in my post. Partially because he apologized profusely and reassured me, but mostly because I just lost my mum and I wasn't ready to lose him too. I don't regret staying with him these past few months. He's provided me with a lot of support that I would have been afraid to ask for from anyone else in my life. But as time went on, his lack of consideration for my feelings and our clear incompatibility continued to resurface. We talked about breaking up a couple of times and I finally decided to pull the plug last night. Unsurprisingly, he was pretty relieved. He admitted that he wanted this for a while, but has wronged me so many times in our relationship that he felt an obligation to do right by me and not end things until I was ready. It's hard to take this kind of loss while I'm still dealing with the loss of my mother, but I know it's for the better. Thanks for the advice, Reddit. And I got to say, I felt uneasy about the update, the way, he said, he admitted he wanted this for a while but has wronged me so many times in our relationship that he felt an obligation to do right by me and not end things until I was ready. And it just totally felt like, He would never have done it. He would never have made that decision. He would never have pulled the trigger. He was just waiting for you to do it. He was too much of a coward to do it himself. And I will say myself, I'm extremely sorry for your loss and what you are going through as well. And all I can say, and what I say in every video when we cover grief-related issues, is that grieve in the way you want to, as long as it's healthy, of course, and look after yourself. I'm not sure if it ever goes away. It certainly hasn't for me, but time and support from friends and loved ones has helped along the way, and I certainly hope it helps you as well. But what do you guys make of this one? What do you think of that update? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And our next story comes from Throwaway Scraps, who asks, am I the arsehole for feeding my dog table scraps from a dinner my boyfriend made for us? I, 24 female, have been dating Jay, 28 male, for 4 months. He is handsome, smart, funny, well-educated, has an awesome job, and is a sweetheart. Sunday, he had a whole day planned for us. We were going to walk a nature trail and then go back to his place for dinner he was making. I was so excited because it was going to be the first time I'd be at his house. Since we were hiking, he said I could bring my dog Shelby with us. He made us a roast and some vegetables for dinner. I finished my plate before Jay did and took it to the kitchen. There was still about half the roast left, and it was close to Shelby's dinner time, so I took half of roast and some still raw vegetables from the fridge and put it on a plate for Shelby. I was carrying the plate to the back door with Shelby to feed her outside, and Jay asked me what I was doing. I told him feeding Shelby. Jay said something like, well, that's not dog food. Jay knows I mainly feed Shelby a raw diet. I opened the door to put the plate down for Shelby, and Jay got up, took the plate away from her, went to the kitchen and came back with it wrapped up in tin foil and told me to leave. His excuse was that he made dinner for me and him, not me, him and my dog, and that I should have asked before I helped myself since he would have used his leftovers. I did leave, but not before telling him that he made that meal for us so I could do with some of it as I pleased, and he knew damn well how I feed Shelby. I tried talking to my friend about it later that night, but she said Jay was right to be upset, but this friend has never really approved of how I treat my own dog, so I feel that she was probably a bit biased and the wrong person to ask. Am I the arsehole for just feeding my dog like I normally would? Clarification. She does not get restaurant food daily. I eat out maybe 4 times a month. If what I eat is dog safe or the restaurant makes food for dogs on request, then I bring some home for her. Shelby's daily meals are a bit of brown rice, raw vegetables, and ground chicken hearts and beef livers. The hearts and livers are boiled just enough to kill the bacteria, and that's all with the approval of Shelby's vet. I asked Jay how he prepared the roast so I could know if it is safe to give her. That's also why I got her fresh, unused vegetables from the fridge. And we do have an update to this one in just a second. And people were asking questions to try and get some additional info from OP. So Starbright said, info. Why didn't you ask? I'd be hesitant to let dogs have certain things too, because depending on the seasoning and the veggies, there are some things that dogs cannot eat. OP replies saying, I did ask him how the roast was made when we got back to his place, but I didn't know how he prepared the vegetables, which was the main reason I got the raw vegetables from the fridge. He's seen me order extra portions of vegetables or meat with very specific instructions on our dates for the purpose of my leftovers being given to Shelby, so I figured he'd had to have known I would have been giving her some. OP then goes on to say in another comment saying, I said why, he knows how I feed my dog, so I assumed he knew some of it would be going to her. Why else would he have let me bring Shelby? I was kind of like on that comment, you know, because it's a walk and a hike, it's the perfect situation to take your dog along. I don't know why I'd assume he'd be feeding your dog too. Holy moly. Bury Me With My GameCube says, great name, info, so hold on. Did you give your dog some from your plate that wasn't eaten, or did you grab from the leftovers? Because there's definitely a difference between table scraps and just grabbing from the leftovers he might have had plans for. Even half of the roast is a significant amount of food. I understand why he wouldn't want it going to the dog. Just because you choose to feed your dog raw doesn't mean you just get to decide to feed it whatever food you want, especially if you didn't cook it. What were you planning to feed your dog with if dinner was something it couldn't eat? Also, why not ask? Him kicking you out was probably harsh, and you guys should have communicated, but it all could have been avoided if you had asked. OP says, it was the roast we hadn't eaten. I consider that table scraps. If it was something she couldn't have eaten, I would have asked him if he had something she could eat or left earlier so she could eat on time. Then Help Me I Have a Stalker says, please look into what you feed Shelby. It's very concerning. To which OP replies saying Shelby has been on this diet for 6 years and is very healthy and active. It's not some nilly-willy diet. A vet has helped with and approved it. I appreciate everyone's concern over Shelby, but too many of you making baseless claims and assumptions with nothing to go on. I came here asking about the interaction between Jay and myself, not my dog's diet. Too many keyboard vets in here. And I myself, I'm not going to get into the diet side of things. I don't know enough about it to comment. So I will go through the relationship side of things and the etiquette within the house. You've been together 4 months. This was the first time you was round his house. And after dinner, you not only took half of the roast, which I'm like, holy moly, are you actually calling half of the roast table scraps? Leftover roast meat on a Sunday after a Sunday roast is precious. It never gets wasted. In many people's houses that I can think of, it always gets totally used. So for you to just take half of that without even asking and then go to the fridge, remember the first time you've been in this house, and start helping yourself to the raw veggies, holy moly. And I certainly would be looking at OP in a different way, trying to be in that scenario and just see her get up and then start going to the fridge and taking stuff like the first time round that house. Holy moly. Just very entitled to me, it sounds like. And I think I've just holy moly 3 times in a row. Probably 4 times now. Holy moly. Sorry about that. But anyway, let's go and see if this can get any worse. And let's go to the update to see what happened next, which says, I accept that I'm the arsehole for what I said and did to Jay. Some of these responses were harsh, but I see now how and why I was entitled. Thanks to people that responded to the actual issue. Others going on about her diet, thanks for the concern, but I came here to ask about Jay. Not get into a debate about dog foods. Shelby's been on a diet for 6 years and is healthy and an active puppo. That's all I and my vet need to know. As for Jay, I apologized to him and he did accept my apology, but he broke it off. He said it was the last straw for him over me doing things without asking first. He has talked to me about taking things off his plate or drink without asking before. I've tried to do better but keep slipping up. I didn't realize I was that bad about it, so I'm going to work on myself for the next guy. For people that said not going to his place for 4 months was a red flag, that was my decision that he respected. I don't want to go to someone's house or them know where I live the first few months of dating and getting to know each other. I'm just thinking it must have been bad for it to be like a last straw if you're constantly taking things off his plate and his drink without asking. I can get someone, nabbing the occasional chippy. I don't mind that, but if someone keeps picking at my food, yeah, that would wind me up very quickly. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? What do you think of that update? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, support, and time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for getting involved. And if you'd like to support the channel further, never expected, of course, but always appreciated, you can support either by clicking that join button down below for YouTube or clicking the link tree below and joining over up on Patreon. As I said, never expected, but always appreciated. Thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Much love.
Yeah, man, I remember being so naive when life was good, weather and palm trees. Back in the day, you were everything I need. But then along came a time when you crushed my dreams. Oh yeah, you played me like a fool when you made me believe that the line between love wasn't thick enough to read. Oh yeah, you see we in despair, crime everywhere. You're selling false hope cause you just don't care. Nah, you just don't care. Nah, you just don't care. You just don't. Still selling false hope cause you just don't care. House, feel if we talking to a uniform, who the real? You know we in the deep south, so let's keep it real. This is what they used to mob, lynch, drag, and kill. I never made the party cause I felt the paper bag. Just gotta get this money cause you know I never had it. I'm feeling like Badu, the way I carry my baggage. This heavy load on my shoulders might turn me to a savage. Is that why I gotta fight to get respect? That's a shame, who's to blame? I don't know, but all I know is that we still rocking them chains. Still taking that whip, still trying to get